This video will teach you how to organise a training week as a beginner. By the end of this video, you will learn how to organise a training week, what the best workout structure is to make this happen, and how much work you actually have to do to grow and see results. One of the main considerations when it comes to creating a training week or microcycle is trying to figure out a way to fit in all the necessary volume required in order to see an adaptive response per muscle group. Volume being defined as number of hard or working sets. These working sets should be at an RPE of between 6 and 9 depending on where you are in your training month or how close you are to a deload. For more on this, check out our video on the RPE scale and training intensity. Before we get deeper into this, I'll point out that this video will focus mainly on hypertrophy or muscle growth and the applications when it comes to building a training microcycle as a beginner. The whole purpose of resistance training is to see positive adaptation, whether it be building strength, growing muscle, or improving our work capacity or fitness levels. The way we do this is by pushing ourselves harder than what we are used to through training, which causes a bit of damage as a byproduct. After training, our body will recover from that stimulus, and then, with proper programming and recovery, we'll adapt and grow to handle that same level of stimulus next time. The way we progress is to continually push ourselves beyond our previous level of capabilities to allow this process to continue. That way we grow and become better. This is only part of the process. Another important part is to allow ourselves to offset the fatigue build-up over time and recover from the demands of training. But that is outside the scope of this video. For now, let's get back into how to organise a training week as someone who is a beginner to training. If you are new or relatively new to training, it doesn't take much to create this adaptive and growth response. This is because our base level of fitness is relatively low. So it won't take much disruption through resistance training to see this growth response. Usually it takes somewhere between 6 and 12 sets of resistance training exercise per muscle group per week to see this growth response as someone who is relatively new to training. This should get you by for the first several months to even couple of years of resistance training. Now, on a side note, everybody is different and responds differently to different training amounts. So it may take a bit of trial and error to see which amount suits you best. I'll leave it there as far as recommendations for volume amounts go, as this topic has a lot of different caveats, so it can be quite confusing as a beginner trainee. Though it is important to note that as it currently stands, training volumes at the appropriate intensities in RPE are the biggest driver for hypertrophy. So remembering that we want to train between 6 and 12 sets per muscle group per week, how do we organise our training week? As a beginner, it's a good idea to use full body workouts with at least a day's rest between each training session. This will allow us to hit each muscle group multiple times per week, which has been proven to have a better growth response than training it only once per week, whilst also allowing enough time for our bodies to recover, adapt, and grow between these training sessions. For more on how to build a full body workout, check out our video on how to build a full body dumbbell workout. These workouts are based on dumbbell exercises, but can be swapped out for other exercises that you prefer. As a beginner, start at 2 full body sessions per week spaced evenly apart, only adding a third when the progress slows and you need more volume to stimulate growth. For example, you could train 1 session on a Monday and the second on Thursday. When the time comes that you need more volume to grow, you could add in a third session, spacing the sessions on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. This should start your training volume at 6 weekly sets per muscle group. 3 sets per muscle group on the first session and 3 sets per muscle group on the second session, which should be more than enough volume to grow for the first several months and also give you plenty of time to perfect the skills of performing each exercise without building up too much fatigue. However, over time, as your body gets used to the training stimulus, the adaptive processes will slow and you'll need to add more training volume to continue growth. This is where the third training session comes into play, moving our working sets from 6 per muscle group per week to 9. This should see good growth for the next several months, depending on individual difference of course. But what happens when we stop seeing the growth we want from these 3 weekly full body sessions? Do we add a 4th? Well, maybe. However, I'd recommend changing the way we organise our training even further, going from full body sessions to an upper body session and a lower body session. Why? Well, for a few reasons. But mainly, doing this allows us more freedom to add volume in our future training without building up too much fatigue in each session and ensuring that our workouts don't take hours to complete. Also allowing ourselves plenty of time to recover between sessions and getting a better training effort in during the session to drive progressive overload, and adaptation. To organise our training throughout the week, remembering that training a muscle group multiple times a week is better than training it once a week for growth. We should set it out so that we train our lower body day 1, our upper body day 2, and rest the third day, then repeat. This should cover all bases for effective muscle growth. For more on how to build a lower body and an upper body workout, check out our video guides on just that. An example of how to set up an upper-lower training week would be to train lower body Monday, upper body Tuesday, rest Wednesday, train lower body again on Thursday, train upper body on Friday, and rest for the weekends. That's it for now. Happy training. If you would like to learn more on how to build an effective training program, check out our ebook, How to Build a Training Program, linked in the description.